Yo, what's going on, YouTube? What's going on, Raider Nation? It is your boy Ash Raider here, coming at you, or Ash Sports here, coming at you guys in the live stream. So, check this out, right? I want to know, right? I seriously want to know if this is a thing or not heading into the 2021 season. Well, we already know what the biggest concern is for the Raiders heading into the 2021 season is, at least on the offensive side of the ball. But I want to know this, you guys, just out of curiosity. Would the media still be talking about the Raiders, because everybody in the media, I don't know why on LA Originals Hangout, because obviously, LA Original, whenever he talks Chargers or AFC West, a lot of AFC West fans, Sev, Colby, Sports, I haven't heard from many KC fans in a while, but like Andy Rod at one point, Cheap Urag, and then you obviously got Nate, and then just some other Charger fans in general. And my phone fucking fell. Give me 1 second. All right, there you go. Like they were just they just like are like, but like I'm just saying, I think it was Colby that said the other day, I don't know how, people are saying that the Raiders aren't going to finish last. And if you've been paying attention, Colby, a lot of people have the Raiders finishing last. And that's it even with your team having Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater as your starting quarterbacks. It's basically you guys having the worst quarterbacks in the AFC West. Now, I will say this, though. On paper, the Broncos may have the best defense, and they have a lot of pieces on offense on paper. But the past few years, that hasn't proven to be shit for the Broncos. At the end of the day, we all know what the biggest problem for the Broncos is, and if they don't address it, they're gonna win again 5 to 6 games like they usually have been doing the last 5 years, ever since they won Super Bowl 50. And from what I've heard through reports, Aaron Rodgers, he may just either play or not play this year. As in, he may just want to just sit out a year, retire for a year. I don't think he even wants to be traded. And then obviously with the whole Deshaun Watson situation, I don't even think he's even going to be playing this year, And I don't think teams are going to be willing to trade for him until his name is cleared from all the allegations that's being thrown at him. So realistically, at this point, you can't get any of those quarterbacks. You're just going to have to stick with Drew Lock. You're just going to have to hope. Because the thing is, at least with Drew Lock, he's entering his third year. Maybe Drew Lock could be something. But you already know what you're going to be getting out of Teddy Bridgewater. Just another game manager. And, he's not going to carry you guys over the hump. Okay? But, yeah, that's it with the Broncos. Now, as far as the Chargers, everybody is saying that the Chargers are going to be that team that's going to, compete with the Chiefs in the AFC West, and that Herbert's going to take the next step and whatnot. And it's I remember I was kind of going at it a little bit with Darcy yesterday. And actually, no, we didn't even go at it. We actually both kind of agreed that, I don't know what this was. I think this was when a few days ago when Patrick Mahomes was at the golf tournament, the celebrity golf tournament, and then I think some Chargers fan, right, was talking shit and saying, "Oh, look out for Herbert next year." And then I think Mahomes said something like, "Oh, I believe it when I see it." Listen, do I think Herbert is a good quarterback? I think so. I think he is a very solid quarterback. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback for years to come. But the thing is, though, I really do believe that's as good as Justin Herbert is going to get. I don't think he's going to get any better than that. He had a really great rookie season. And I think he'll have plenty of more good seasons. I don't think he'll ever be an elite quarterback. That's just my opinion. I'm not trying to hate on Justin Herbert and whatnot. I just don't see it. And if I do, I'll be the first one to say, well, I was wrong about the guy. But even if he is an elite quarterback, even if he is a top 5 quarterback down the road, he's not on Patrick Mahomes' level. I mean, I hate the Chiefs, but dude, you're not gonna tell me that a guy in his first 3 years went to 3 straight AFC championships. His first season he won MVP. His second season he won the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl MVP, and then went 14-1 last year. You're just not going to convince me otherwise. And yeah, he inherited a team that was already a perennial playoff team and was already really good. But let's be real. I mean, I talked about this the other day. He saved Andy Reid's legacy. Like, Andy Reid was always known as this playoff choker. And now, he's finally a Super Bowl champion. He finally got over hump, thanks to Patrick Mahomes. Now every year it seems like the Chiefs are Super Bowl favorites. Even though I think, in my opinion, they're not going to be back this year. But let's talk about the Raiders. So let's talk about it. If the Raiders, right, because let's be real, the Raiders in the draft, if the Raiders did not, quote-unquote, reach for Alex Leatherwood, even though the more I look at Alex Leatherwood's draft profile, I think he could have been a late first-rounder. I really do. I'm not even just saying that because we got him in the 17th overall pick. He has won a lot in college. He's won a lot of awards in college. And the fact that they were saying that he wasn't even good enough to be in the second or late, or no, good enough to be a second rounder and be like a possible third rounder, that's just mind-boggling to me. The only reason why I was upset about it is that I think the Raiders could have gotten him in the later second round, but it is what it is. But say we would have gotten someone like Darius Soft in the first round, and say Rodney Hudson and Gabe Jackson were still on the team. Would you still be saying the shit that you were saying about the Raiders this year? Because at the end of the day, we added more depth to our offense at receiver. We did lose Nelson Aguilar, but we gained, John Brown and Willie Snead. And I think a lot of people expect Henry Ruggs to turn it around this year. Then obviously we took a lot of pressure off of Josh Jacobs' shoulders and adding in Kenyon Drake. Yeah, people want to question, we paid him too much money and whatnot. Hey, at the end of the day, one of the reasons why the Raiders, kind of fell off the last couple of years was because, Josh Jacobs was getting too much of the workload and he was getting banged up. And that's another thing, too, with our offensive line. It's like, again, the media doesn't pay attention to this, but our offensive line wasn't that good last year. It was not. It was a bottom 10 offensive line. And, as much as we love Rodney Hudson, he regressed. As much as we love Gabe Jackson, he regressed. Trent Brown's a piece of shit. So, we'll see what Andre James does. I'm very optimistic on Andre James. This guy was on the team the last couple years, learned from Rodney Hudson in those 2 games he appeared in. He didn't even play that bad. Yeah, he had a couple of times he had trouble with the snap with Carr, but I'm sure by now he's already gotten that down because people don't know this, that every Wednesday and Thursday during practice, Rodney Hudson would, take time off because, he's getting up there with age. He's been battling a lot of ankle injuries and whatnot, played through it. But the Raiders give him rest, because, you want to be at your best on Sunday. And, Andre James played first-team reps, and according to Carr, according to the Tom Cable, according to Greg Olson, they said he played very well, that he progressed, week after week, So that's really good to hear. And then obviously with the guard spots, we don't know who's going to start at left or right guard, but obviously we got Richie Incognito who's coming back. And before he got hurt last year, he had a really good year in 2019. The only thing is that now he's turned 38. He's 38 now. I forgot that his birthday was in July. I thought his birthday had already passed. And he's coming off an Achilles injury, so that's like a big issue for me. I'm not sure if he's going to perform like he did in 2019. And then obviously you got Denzel Good or John Simpson. Now, John Simpson has some potential, and Denzel Good, I thought he played very well last year at the left guard spot for Gabe Jackson. So, there's Tom Cable. There's going to be a lot of decisions coming up for Tom Cable, and obviously the expectation is that Alex Leatherwood will start at right tackle. Listen, he doesn't have to be as good as Trent Brown his first year. That's not even realistic. I expect Alex Leatherwood to be a bit raw. I expect him to, maybe allow a few sacks, hopefully just maybe 3, 4, 5 sacks. Not anything like what Colton Miller did his rookie year. I think Colton Miller gave up 10, something like that. So I expect him to obviously go through, his rookie year, just go through his slumps. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna happen. It's inevitable. So, yeah, man. But I just think if we never really changed anything to our offensive line, or if our offensive line stayed the same, or we drafted someone that was valued with that 17th pick, that was there. That could have been projected as a good pick at 17, like Darius or something. And we did what we were supposed to do in the offseason. In my opinion, at least through the draft, is address defense and also getting some pieces like Yannick Ngakoue and Casey Hayward. I want to know if the media would still talk about the Raiders. Shit, I do not want to go on the freeway. Talk about the Raiders like they have been for the past few years. Give me space, please. Thank you. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, that wasn't. I'm not trying to take the freeway because I'm literally right next to my work, and that would take me all the way to downtown San Jose. Oh, shit. Okay. But yeah. So at the end of the day, we'll see. We'll see, because let me make sure you guys can hear me and that I'm not. Hopefully you guys can hear me, because I had, I just had my Wi-Fi on, and sometimes whenever I'm in the car and I'm talking, I have the Wi-Fi on, I sound a little bit laggy. So if that's the case, then I may have to just do another one, later, not now, obviously. I'll look back at it and see how I sounded. I'm pretty sure I sounded okay. If anything, someone would have spoke up right by now and said hey, we can't hear you. Okay, then that's for sure. Yeah. So again, we'll see, man. I am excited but also anxious about the season. I don't know what to expect. I really don't. I mean, we could be really good next year, or we could be really bad next year. It's going to be very, very difficult to know how the Raiders are going to do. But it just amazes me how almost everybody in the media is saying that the Raiders are going to be trash. It's one thing to say it's one thing from a few analysis to say oh, the Raiders are not going to have a good season. The Raiders fail to make plus one. But it's another thing to say oh, the Raiders are just going to be a bad team, a bottom 5 team. That's the thing. I don't think the Raiders are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL next year. I just don't see it. I don't, especially with the team and the roster that we have. And even with questions about Carr and Gruden, it's I really feel moving forward with this team, this team is set for the future. I really do like some of the pieces that we have on our team, both offensively and defensively, and we're very young, So even if Gruden and Carr are not the guys, I feel like with this team, like starting 2022, 2023, maybe not this year, can really start to compete, and not just in the AFC West, but in the AFC in general. But we'll see. Like I said, again, I'm not expecting us. I'm not one of those delusional Raider fans that's going to say we're going to win the West or win the AFC or go to the Super Bowl and whatnot. So, and another thing I want to address is this: I am getting so sick and tired of. See, listen. There's two Raider fans I don't like: delusional Raider fans and the fans of the team the fans that just literally hate on every single thing that the Raiders do. Like, the Raiders can find the cure for cancer, and this so-called Raiders fan that you are will still, hate on it. Those type of people. And you got Raider fans co-signing for Trent Brown, saying, I don't blame Trent Brown leaving a bad organization like that. Here's the thing. You should have, if you wanted out, right, two things you could have done. You could have just avoided the contract and not signed with us. I'm sure you would have gotten paid elsewhere, because you were coming off there. He was coming off a big Super Bowl win with the Patriots, started all 16 games at left tackle. He's also proven to play at right tackle. He would have gotten paid a lot of money, regardless, if it was with the Raiders or not. Then he proceeded to do what Antonio Brown did and bitch his way out of the Raiders instead of doing it the classy way, like a Rodney Hudson, and just say, hey, you know what? I don't want to play here anymore. I want out. You'll probably get some good draft leverage out of me, but I want out. Instead, you had to do what Antonio Brown did, and that's why both of those players, their legacies will forever be ruined. Antonio Brown is not going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry. He is not. The voters are going to look at all the shit that he did with the Raiders, all the shit he did with the Steelers, and the Patriots, and his arrest history and whatnot, man. There's no way that the Pro Football Hall of Fame is going to put this man in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. No. Hell no. And then Trent Brown, he had a lot of potential to be this next, to be the most dominant right tackle in the game for at least the next few years. But I don't see that. No, because at the end of the day, you can't seem to stay healthy. You can't seem to stay in shape. And it goes as noticed that when things aren't going your way, you're going to bitch your way out of there. Like what you did. Because remember, Trent Brown, before he was with the Patriots and the Raiders, he was actually drafted with the 49ers. But the thing is, though, he got drafted the year after Harbaugh led. And, everything, all the 49ers were just a complete rebuild mode. And you saw Trent Brown started to get hurt, couldn't get on the field and whatnot. Maybe it was just an early injury history. Maybe, that happens sometimes to players. They get hurt early in their careers, but then afterwards, once they finally get healthy, they start to ball out. You're seeing that with Shohei Ohtani. You saw that in basketball with Joel Embiid. I'm sure it's happened to a few football players. I just can't think of it at the top of my head. But, he didn't. It didn't seem like he wanted to play hard for the 49ers. See, that's the thing I hate about Trent Brown. That's the thing I hate about football players today. It's they don't want to play hard anymore. That's why I respect people like Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue, because I swear, this is why I think they're going to be one of the best pass rushing duos in football. I'm not saying they're going to be the best, but they're going to be one of the best. I really do think both of them are going to ball out and put up some numbers this year, because they play with football with effort, 110% effort. Listen, you don't have to be the most skilled football player ever, everything, you're flawless with your game and whatnot, you're mega talented, you have the potential to be listen, as long as you're just giving it your best, as a coach and just as a fan, that's all I ask for, That's all I ask for is just give it your effort, give it your. And I felt like, what the fuck, car? Come on, Jesus, I fucking hate these not Campbell, San Jose drivers, man. They fucking do not know how to drive. Just give it your best. That's all I asked for. And I felt like Trent Brown didn't give his best, even when he was healthy with the Raiders. And I hate how fans are defending the certain Raider fans, the silent majority, because they don't want to fucking reveal their true identity, or else, they would probably get their ass beat at the fucking stadium and shit, for co-signing for pieces of shit like Trent Brown and like Antonio Brown. Like, I'd rather fuck with the delusional Raider fans that are saying, like, we're going to win a Super Bowl, whatnot. Because at least at the end of the day, like, they're optimistic and they bring out good energy. Like, they want to see the team succeed. You motherfuckers, on the other hand, that you don't want to see the team succeed. You just want to be right and know your football knowledge at the end of the day. Like, it's one thing to say, like, oh, the Raiders are not going to be another thing, but it's a damn for sure another thing to say, like, oh, we're going to be one of the worst teams in football, and then co-sign for all the other rivals that, like, for example, oh, man, did you see what the Chiefs did in the offseason? What about the Broncos? What about the Chargers? Who cares? Nobody gives a fuck. Cool. They on paper it looks good. We've already known the Broncos last 5-6 years. They've looked good on paper, but what is the real fucking issue? Quarterback. With the Chargers, the same thing. It looks good on paper, but what is the issue? Coaching. And then with the Chiefs, I mean, the Chiefs are a good team and whatnot, but do you really think that the Chiefs for the third year in a row are going to go back to the Super Bowl, especially considering the fact that they got blown the fuck out in the Super Bowl, and they got a little bit exposed in that Super Bowl as well? I mean, seriously, they scored 9 points, and you really want to sit up here and like guarantee that they'll be back in another Super Bowl? Like, do I think they have the chance? Of course. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I hate them with a passion, but they were 14-2 last year. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is an amazing quarterback. They got a good team. They do. I'm not gonna be a fucking idiot and not say otherwise. But it's hard to make it to 3 Super Bowls in a row. It is. Especially with how stacked the AFC this year, and you're forgetting injuries exist too. You're forgetting that, like, this isn't the AFC East with the Patriots. This is the AFC West. I expect, like, 2, maybe 3 teams in this division to make the playoffs this year. I do. So, at the end of the day, you guys, man, like, I'm just gonna leave it at that, man. Like, I just hate going on Raiders Twitter because you get two of these people: delusional Raider fans, or just the Raider fans that just like to talk shit about the team because, and I get it, the team hasn't really done much the last 20 years, but, at the end of the day, man, that doesn't mean you have to shit on them like all the fucking time. Like, to me, I only shit on the Raiders when they deserve it. Like the time that they lost to the fucking Dolphins. They deserve my criticism of the team. Or when they at the time it was like when we released Rodney Hudson, they deserved my criticism. Or when we had that mid-season collapse, they deserved my criticism. I only criticize when it's deserved. I mean, you can't sit up here and say like when we reach for Alex Leatherwood this year. But again, we will see. I hope I'm wrong about Alex Leatherwood. But like, to fucking, because like here's another thing that like pisses me off. It's like even the good players on this team, like Josh Jacobs, they'll even criticize them. So I got some people that are saying that Josh Jacobs is average. Like, you definitely did not watch the Raiders last year to think that Josh, and even with Josh Jacobs having it, because I do believe he had that down year. He still finished with over 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns. The only reason why Josh Jacobs had a down year was because our offensive line was a bottom 10 offensive line last year. Our run blocking sucked. And our pass blocking was average. So, and at this offensive line, like if our run block offensive line, like say if it gets better next year, which I hope, then you're going to see Josh Jacobs ball out. He's going to have like 1,300 maybe close to 1,400 rushing yards. I damn near guarantee it. You know, I do. So with that being said, well, at least 1,200 rushing yards. I was thinking myself 1,300. That's kind of a stretch, but it's possible. 1,200 definitely if he stays healthy. But with that being said, you guys, man, this has been your boy, Ash Raider, and I am out. Peace and go Raiders.